Get peace of mind with the RV Advisor's extended warranty for as low as $14 per month. Visit thervadvisor.com today.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. My name's Tom Alexander, and I'm joined today by Faith Megna and Lily. There's Lily.
Here she
Lily.
is.
Little bunny there. Now, what kind of rabbit is Lily?
She's a Dutch bunny.
A Dutch bunny.
Yes.
All right. Hey, Lily, how you doing? I believe this is the first rabbit we've had on the podcast. We've had dogs and cats join us in the past, but this is the first bunny. And for those folks that only listen to the podcast and don't actually watch the video portion, you're missing out on like just gobs of cuteness right now, because that, she's very sweet.
She thinks she's a dog, so I mean, it kind of works that way. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, she's absolutely beautiful, and hey, there you go, getting all sides, getting the full 360 turn there. That's
there.
Pretty...
You go. There you go.
All
right, honey. We're gonna let you go. All right. See you later.
There goes Lily. Thanks for making an appearance, Lily. We appreciate that. So Faith, your Instagram page says the Executive Camper.
Yes.
Explain the origin of the Executive Camper.
I am a two-business owner. So I have a digital marketing company, and I'm also a personal trainer. And both of them are online. And I was trying to figure out, what do I call my page? And was talking to one of my girlfriends, and she was like, "You're the Executive Camper." And it just stuck because what are you doing? You're doing this on your own. You're a business owner. You're camping. All right. I mean, it was a no-brainer. So I knew I was going to be talking about my businesses, and I was traveling to originally do the one, which has been affected by COVID. And so that was one. And then the other one has kind of morphed into something that I'm doing on the road as well. So they're both part of what I do traveling the country.
You can do your work from the road. You're in your RV, and you're able to do all this. And the I'm intrigued by the training videos, the fitness videos. How do you do that? Like, I mean, you've got you have individual clients and you talk them through a workout while you're on the camera, or how do you do that?
Well, since I'm traveling, you never quite know how your connectivity is going to be. Yeah. I tried that early on. That did not work so well. Oh, yeah. So I decided I'm going to record everything. And there's a lot more to my program than just videos. Mm-hmm. I'm working with their mindset, their nutrition, the whole 9 yards, anything and everything. And I deal with a lot of business owners, any women who are success driven. So it's a little bit more of, it's not just your fitness, but it could be your business too. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I've recorded all of the workouts for them. And that really came from COVID. Like, oh, what am I going to do? Because they can't go to gyms. Yeah. So I started recording the workouts, and I do boot camps. So it came down that I ended up calling it Campground Boot Camp. Just made complete sense. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was in the middle of doing one of my boot camps, and I'm like, that's it. That's what you call this. Yeah. So it just worked out very well to fall into place. So I'm taking, the videos as I'm traveling around the country as well. Yeah. So it just it works out very well.
Wow, that makes total sense. It's interesting because we've spoken with people. In fact, earlier today, we had recorded a segment, and we talked about how, if any positivity has come out of this whole COVID thing, it's that people have had to, in many cases, reinvent themselves, or at the very least, kind of reinvent the way they do things. And
absolutely.
And it sounds like here's something that was, like you said, born from the pandemic. And, you're able to do it now. And that's, and that probably, my guess is, may not necessarily come to a screeching halt once everything kind of gets back to normal. You kind of continue what's been revealed to you, I guess, right?
Yeah, because first of all, people are always going to need fitness. And if they can't go to the gyms, a lot of them are uncomfortable with even stepping into a gym at this point.
Yeah.
And having worked in a gym, I know I'm 5.5 years into being a trainer. So I realize my first year was spent in a gym. And even at that point, I said that's probably a smart thing because it's not the cleanest place.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of germs flying around, and when people are sick, they still come to work out. So honestly, I think that's, unfortunately for the industry, it has evolved that industry tremendously. I was already doing these workouts from anywhere starting almost 5 years ago. So I already was pretty acclimated to falling into place wherever I was. I started it in the basement of the condo building that I lived in. And then we were on the rooftop. I was on a bridge. I mean, I was doing it wherever I could find a place to do it. So when I became an RVer, it fell into place to just do it from wherever I was. So it really is boot camp from anywhere.
Well, we want to find out about the transition into RVing, becoming a kind of a full-time RVer, because it's interesting. Some people are almost born into it in a sense that they're around it from their earliest days as children. Other times people discover it later and they decide, maybe they go with somebody and they say, wow, this is awesome. I want to do this. So we're going to find out about your journey into journeying on the road. So we'll do that when we come back from the break. I'm speaking with Faith Megna. She is the Executive Camper. You can find her on Instagram at the Executive Camper. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. Back in just a moment. The RVACA is a charitable organization protecting the rights of RV owners. With your help, we'll work with dealers and manufacturers to ensure quality controls in place prior to delivery of an RV. Additionally, the RVACA provides assistance to disaster relief victims. Visit rvaca.org. We're back on the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. My guest is Faith Megna, and she is from the Executive Camper. Well, she is the Executive Camper. Let's put it that way, right, Faith?
I am.
Yeah, you are. You're the Executive Camper, of course, on Instagram. That's exactly where you find Faith, and she's got closing in on 2,500 followers right now. And it says here, Journey of Solo Female Full-Time RVer. The solo journey. And tell us about the solo journey, when it started, when you said, you know what, I'm going to live on the road.
Well, I went through a divorce, many people do. And I gave myself a year. I was living in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the time, and moved into a house, had a 1-year lease on it. And 8 months later, it was the night of my birthday. I went out, I came home. I decided, you know what, I'm not in a better place than I was a year ago. It's time to leave. And at that point, I really didn't know where home was. I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I didn't really want to go back. I spent enough time there. I always knew I wanted to see the country. I had it written down as one of the first things I wanted to do was see the country. Mm-hmm. And so that evening, I literally made the decision, I want to go somewhere. I just don't know where. And so I started doing research and decided, do I want to do tiny home? Do I want to do travel trailer? What do I do? I started to talk to people. Within 3 weeks, I was talking to people when I was going out with them and saying, hey, we were already planning trips. And it only took me 4 months from the night that I decided to the day that I got in a plane to come out to Arizona to pick up my truck from a friend and start this journey. So it really does not take that long once you put your mind to something to do it.
You go out there and you make up your mind and you do it, and that's great. And I know a lot of folks that come on this podcast are very much that way. They don't let anything stop them. I mean, here we are in the middle of the great pandemic, right? And it's just you know, a lot of, and understandably so, a lot of businesses have folded up, you know, and things that, you know, people have had to adjust. But then there's folks that say, you know what, I'm not letting anything stop me. They're not being stupid. They're taking their precautions. They're following protocol, but they're inventing new ways, figuring out new ways, workarounds to, you know, keep the ball going, you know, advance the ball down the field, if I can use a sports parlance. But I think that what you've done, obviously, is, you know, here you are 2.5 years on the road now, and you're still able to work, in a manner of speaking, but you've had to make those adjustments, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And I mean, how hard was it when, you know, when it became apparent that COVID was going to be a thing that wasn't just flavor of the month, it was going to be here for a while? You know, when did you decide, okay, well, you know, I need to start figuring out what I'm going to do next?
Well, probably when stay at home was starting to kick into place.
Yeah.
And the thing was, I was far from home. I was in the South, so I literally I called a friend who was a law enforcement officer and said, "What do you think?" And the thing was, Michigan was shut down until the end of June.
Yeah.
So as in the campgrounds.
Right.
So I had nowhere to go back to. And my parents were sitting there and they're like, "You can come here." And I said, "That's not a good idea. You're in there, you're in your 80s, you're both high risk. I have no health issues. I come back, I could be a carrier." You know, we didn't know enough at the time.
Yeah, we didn't.
And I made the decision that I had to just stay put.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was really, has not been that exciting for me. But that's when I stepped in and stepped it up with my businesses. And I started reworking both of the business models to adjust with what was happening. So for me, it kind of worked out because I really had two businesses to completely overhaul.
Yeah. Did it surprise you? I mean, you're like I said, you're on the brink of 2,500 followers on Instagram. Did it surprise you when you started to get these kinds of likes and follows? And, you know, was it something you actively tried to, at the outset, go out and do? Or did you see that it was just kind of growing slowly and it's like, wow, look at that. All of a sudden, now I've got 100, now I've got 300, now I've got 800, and so on and so on. Was that a surprise for you?
No, because first off, I have a background in social media. I was training media outlets 10 years ago on social media. So I kind of had a good idea. I wasn't sure, okay, we'll see how well this goes. But the RVing community on Instagram is absolutely amazing. And it's very easy to tap into and connect to the community when you're on Instagram. It's very different. You know, I'm in groups on Facebook, and it's very different on Facebook versus being on Instagram. So, you know, it really feels like you're forging friendships, even though you've never met. And, you know, we all have this in common. We're all doing it. We all help each other. And it's just amazing. It's a great group and to be involved with. So,
one second. There we go. We're in a time right now that is a challenge for everybody. But you kind of just hit on it, where we're alone together. we're all kind of alone, you know, doing it together. And so you really, you know, Instagram and any form of social media, but I know Instagram kind of leads the pack. That it has become an incredible platform for the RV community, as you stated. This came up earlier today in another interview that we did, and it was just like, yeah, we just love Instagram, and we're able to just really get out there. What strikes me the most about RVing, and since I've been doing broadcasting a long time, but just doing the RV thing now with the RV Advisor for just about a year and a half. And what struck me the most, Faith, is that community. It's the most tight-knit family I think I've ever seen. Do you agree?
Completely.
Yeah.
And even, whether it's Instagram, if it's in person, I remember just in my first couple months, I had people coming up to me at my first campground that I was staying at on a regular, I did a monthly, stayed there a couple months, and they were so friendly. It was just amazing. And it wasn't, it's like I had single people, married people, it didn't matter. Everyone was just friendly and there to help out. I know one guy, he was hitting the road, he bought a new ladder, and he was like, "Do you need a ladder?" I'm like, "I was going to ask you if I could use it." And he gave me his ladder. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." It just, where would you ever find something like that?
Yeah.
It's people will literally take the shirt off their back to help you. And it's really, I feel blessed to be a part of this experience in this community.
Well, that's great, and your story's great, and I just love the journey of the solo female full-time RVer. It's a story that will continue, and we'd love to revisit, what you're doing again in a few months, maybe hopefully after we're on the other side of the pandemic. And we can see where you are in the world or in the nation or country, wherever you are at that point.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to follow up with that. It is on Instagram. It is the Executive Camper. The Executive Camper on Instagram. That is where you will find Faith Megna. And Faith, we really do appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. We wish you the very best for the holiday season.
Thank you, Tom. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. We'll be back in just a moment.
The RVACA is a charitable organization protecting the rights of the RV owners. We'll work with dealers and manufacturers to ensure quality control is in place prior to delivery of an RV. Additionally, the RVACA provides assistance to disaster relief victims. Visit rvaca.org.
We are back on the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander, and of course, I'm joined by our guest coordinator. There she is. It is Neve Carey Zacco. I'm getting that three. I'm getting there. And as we established before on the show, you are the only Neve Carey Zacco in the
that is
the
correct.
civilized world. We think, Yeah, that's our suspicion. We've looked, we've checked, and there isn't another.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. We've got the only one.
It's different.
There are other Tom Alexanders.
I love the name. I love that name. It's a strong name.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, thank you. Well, I appreciate
You're welcome.
it. Yeah, thanks very much. I'll have to tell my wife that. So, we are winding down the year. We've got one more new show this year coming up on Monday, and on the 21st. And then we're retooling and getting ready and recalibrating and all that stuff for next year. And we'll be back with a brand new show beginning on January 11th,
right?
On Monday the 11th. So we just want to let folks know where to subscribe, and why don't you share with them all the places they can find us?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter are our main social media platforms. I would highly suggest becoming part of our membership program through the RV Advisor, joining our newsletter. That's where, you know, our main events and news will come across. And yeah, into 2021, we've got a lot of exciting new items coming out. So that's where you're going to find out when they're coming. So yeah, one more guest, as you said, this for December to close out the year. And then we are not back until January 11th, just to give everyone a nice break. You know, everyone's with their family and friends, more important than anything. So yeah, we'll be excited. We're still thinking of ways we can improve and come out with new items for everyone. So yeah, it's a good time. Oh, and YouTube. Do not forget YouTube, because that is where we are going to be the busiest over the next few months.
All right. So it's all there. And we also want to remind folks about the rvaca.org.
Yes,
very important organization trying to help you, the consumer, get a voice in Washington. And just like the manufacturers do, just like the distributors do, have a voice. We are working on getting our own seat at the table, if you will. Until we do, though, we're doing everything we can to help folks out, particularly those folks fighting COVID on the front lines.
Yes.
And, you know, if you want to lend a RV as an isolation unit, you know, temporarily to help out those folks, man, that would be just really awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
If you don't have one to lend, or you're unable to lend one, then certainly any monetary donation is very welcome, very appreciated. And that's rvaca.org. Once again, rvaca.org. Well, there you go, Neve. We're done. One more show, and
yes,
we close out the memorable year of 2020.
What a year!
It has been a year.
A year.
Yeah.
It's nice just to sit back, and we're all lucky we're still here. We've presents under the trees. A lot of people weren't as lucky. So yeah, it's a great time to reflect and appreciate the little things for sure.
Absolutely. And we will see you for the last time in 2020, but not for the last time, only in 2020 on Monday. And of course, we get to share our holiday wishes on Monday, the 21st. Neve, thank you.
Of course, anytime. Talk soon.
Talk soon, folks. We'll see you. Neve Karizacko, Tom Alexander. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.